Topping the Sports Night rundown, a heated exchange on Wednesday's edition of Talk 2 that has everyone talking. Host Jim Rome and Saints quarterback Jim Everett wound up rolling off the stage. When athlete and host step over the line, the result is as follows.
All right, there it is, 1989, his biggest game as a pro quarterback with the LA Rams. Team was trailing 17-3. He took them all the way back. 2017, 454 yards passing. And incredibly enough, he is now playing for that team that he lit up. I'm talking about the New Orleans Saints quarterback, Jim Everett. There's the game winner right there. All right, that was then, and this is now. He's now a member of the Saints. Jim, good to have you on the show.
Good to be here, Jim. Thank you.
Check that. Chris Everett, good to have you on the show.
You know what? You know, you've been calling me that for about the last 5 years.
About 2 years, actually, Chris.
Well, hey, you know what? Let me say one thing. In that game, how many sacks did I have that we came back and won?
How many sacks did you have?
How many sacks?
Well, see, but this was back in 1989.
Okay, that was about
you may have even been Jim Everett back there, but somewhere along the way, Jim, you ceased being Jim and you became Chris.
Well, let me tell you a little secret. That, you know, we're sitting here right now, and if you guys want to take a station break, you can. But if you call me Chris Everett to my face one more time...
I already did it twice.
You call it one more time, we better take a station break.
Well, it's a 5-minute segment, or 5-segment show. We got a long way to go.
Well, we do.
We got a long way to go.
We do.
I'll get a couple segments out of you before.
Well, it's good to be here with you, though.
Well, it's good to see you, too.
Because you've been talking like this behind my back for a long time.
But now I said it right here.
Right, exactly.
Well, we got no problem with that.
I think that you probably won't say it again.
I bet I do.
Okay.
Chris?
After cutting away and going to 15 minutes of standby programming, Jim Rome returned live with his explanation.
All right, welcome back. This is Talk 2. I'm Jim Rome. I had to go ruin my jacket. Perfectly good jacket. Anyway, it's too bad you had to see that. We feel that that was a pretty unfortunate incident. That was New Orleans Saints quarterback Jim Everett. But I've got to say, the fact of the matter is, I'm going to stand by the smack. I've called him Chris on the show before he got here, and I'm going to call him Chris to his face. It's unfortunate because we had a very nice interview planned. We wanted to talk about the Ram years, the NFC Championship game of 1989, and before that, even his college years. It's too bad. We had a very nice interview that we wanted to do, but I'm going to stand by the smack, and for whatever reason, he didn't want to hear it. So again, that's unfortunate. We're sorry you had to see that, but we're going to keep coming after it on Talk 2.
Late Wednesday night, Everett arrived home in Las Vegas, where he was asked for his take on the situation.
I was backed up into a corner like a caged animal. I heard reports that he's been name-calling me, and just to put me in that type of situation when I'm trying to accommodate his show, I think was totally uncalled for. He told me he was going to bring something up in that neighborhood, but I had no idea that you know, he was going to put his foot on it and just keep stepping it down my throat. He's the one who came up with that term. You know, my wife has that name, and I don't think he's referring to my wife. But I just didn't expect to get that type of treatment from that type of a quality station.
You know, in a lot of cases, the relationship between athlete and sports writer is shaky at best. This incident isn't the first time a sports star has had a confrontation with a writer or a sportscaster. A couple of recent ones, Bobby Bonilla and Bob Clappish, and Deion Sanders and Tim McCarver.
Anytime, Bobby. I know you're feeling an itch. Make your move, partner. Because I'll hurt you. You pardon me? Whatever, you take it as you see. It's just, you know, like the homeboy said back home, we just chilling. Make your move.
Where's he at? Where's the car? Where's the car? The car's right here. Right now. Here you go. I got the real man. You know that? You are a real man, Deion. I'll say that.
In regards to this whole incident, after 2 years of using the name Chris Everett as a derogatory slap in the face, Rome, in an afternoon press conference, finally said he regrets using her name to insult another athlete. Chris Everett is one of the most highly regarded competitors in this country. As a reporter pointed out in the same press conference, Chris has more heart and determination than most athletes, male or female.
You know, the thing about it, Rome wasn't even thinking that Chris Everett is a great athlete, and he shouldn't have used that. He just called Jim Chris to say he was a girl, to challenge his manhood, to call this guy a punk on national TV. That's why Everett snapped. You know, in the end, Both Everett and Romy came off looking bad, and the entire incident did nothing to improve the athlete's perception that they can't trust some journalists, and it did nothing to improve the journalist's perception that some athletes are too sensitive. You know, and I tell you what, it seems like this whole brouhaha has been the talk of every office, every workplace in the country, and you know it was the main topic on Jim Rome's radio talk show XTRA in Southern California.
By now, I'm sure all of you know that we had an incident last night on ESPN's Talk 2 between Jim Everett and myself. I want to give you a few statements about this, and I want to address it because the local media did a pretty good job of picking up that videotape and running with it and doing a nice character assassination on me. I want to give you my side of it. The first thing that I want to say about the incident was it is definitely regrettable and unfortunate. We don't feel good about this at all, and we are sorry that it happened. With response to did I goad him, I regret, in hindsight, which is 2020, I regret hitting him a third time. I think that I had made my point the first two times. But I will say this. He got in my face, and he challenged me to say it again. In hindsight, maybe better judgment could have been used, but in the spur of the moment on live TV, when he got in my face and he challenged me, that was my snap reaction. Understand one thing. Although I regret it, I've called him Chris on the radio, I've called him Chris on TV. When he came into the studio for the live interview, although we had a lot of topics and a lot of things we wanted to discuss, I was not going to call him that. I've called him that now for the better part of a year and a half or 2 years. I was not going to address that to his face. This is my feeling about this. We were not lying in wait. We did not ambush him. It was not a ploy for publicity. And you know the show. He knew the show. He just snapped.
Seems like everybody just snapped, and it seems like everybody was going off in L.A. Wednesday.